So I wanted to go a little more in depth about the incident that happened over this weekend with my girlfriend and I while we were out celebrating her birthday. It was a bar restaurant type establishment and it was packed. It was really busy. We didn't have a reservation, so the hostess asked us if we would be okay sitting at a high top in the bar. Sure. So we sat down. Again, the place was busy, so there wasn't a lot of room for people to walk by. But it was a fun atmosphere. It was a good atmosphere. And my girlfriend and I don't get to see each other that often, so we're having in-depth conversation. We're laughing. We're sharing frustrations. We're talking constantly. And the first time this individual walked by, I think he was on the way to the restroom. And as he was walking by, he said, "Kidding." And I said, "Excuse me?" And then he stopped. And he said, "I said kidding." And I was like, "Oh, no, but what did you say before that?" And he's like, "Nothing." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, well, thanks." I honestly didn't know what to say. And he kept walking to the bathroom. Well, he proceeded to stop at our table 2 more times after that first time and tried to initiate conversation. Again, we are 2 friends, 2 women who are in a conversation. That in itself is rude, to interject yourself into a stranger's conversation, just interrupting them for no reason. And so both my friend and I, we kind of bantered back or responded or enforced our boundaries together. So it wasn't that it was just me talking. It wasn't that it just her talking. It was both of us saying, "Okay, but we're having a conversation here, so please respect us and keep walking. You don't need to stop by our table every time you walk by." Which he seemed to take okay. At the end of the night, well, and I should back up before I say that. So then when he went back to sit down, I looked, who is he with? Where is he sitting? Anything else that would just give me more information about who else we might be dealing with. If this gentleman decided to get aggravated or if he escalated, then what? What are my options? That's part of the orient of the OODA loop of observing all of your surroundings and the factors in it, the people in it, and what you need to take into consideration when enforcing your boundaries. I'm not saying that it's always fair, but it's the truth. So I recognized there was 2 gentlemen with him. And when it was time to leave, he came up, the same individual that for the 4th time's a charm, came up to our table and said, "I'm sorry, I just wanted to talk to you. I have daughters and I just feel bad." And it didn't really make sense what he was trying to say. And so I simply said, "Okay, that's great, but you can just go now." Because he was on his way out the door. "You can leave." And he said, and he kind of started getting a little frustrated that I wasn't taking his apology. And I said, "I do accept your apology, but please leave us alone. You've interrupted us now 4 times after we've asked you to leave us alone." And he did end up leaving. And then his buddy kind of walked by and looked like he was going to stop and talk. And it was simple eye contact from both of us that I will call it the mom stare, or the look. Our nonverbals gave him a signal of, no, don't even start the conversation. And he left. Now, we weren't planning to leave right after those individuals left, but still, we tried to keep an eye out for which way they walked. Did they get in a vehicle and leave? Did they seem to be loitering outside, looking in, like they were almost waiting for us to leave? Those are kind of things that, to me, I wanted to make sure I was aware of. In case, let's say we were leaving right after them, then I would have perhaps asked a bar manager to walk us out or to a server to watch us walk to my vehicle. Thankfully, I had parked right in front of the facility, right in front of the establishment, so I could see my vehicle through the glass of the front of the building. So it wasn't like we had to walk to a darker parking lot around the corner or anything like that. But those are the things to keep in mind when you're enforcing boundaries. You don't want to escalate the situation, but you have absolutely no reason to hesitate enforcing your boundary. It's not being rude, it's being direct. Remember, he was the one who was being rude, who was interrupting our conversation, not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 times. Wasn't getting the hint. Have a plan. If my boundary enforcement doesn't work the first time, if they are escalating, if I'm concerned that they're waiting for us to leave, what would you do? Constantly, or I shouldn't say constantly, but work through those mental exercises to come up with a plan. I will tell you, even in my cute little designer handbag, I had a Sharpie, a tactical flashlight, and mace. Always have tools on you, depending on what you're wearing, where you're going, what you're comfortable with. It's up to you to decide what tools you are carrying at any given moment, as long as you've practiced with them, have mentally gone through using them, maybe even have practice, in the case of mace, spraying them so you understand what the spray pattern is. You got this. Stay sharp.